Welcome to the Cyber Chronicles. My name is Brian Stevenson, and I am your host. This is the episode ending April 6th. We've got a lot of cool articles to talk about this week. In fact, I wish we had time to do more than 5. I mean, we have the Mar-a-Lago, is that how you pronounce it? Security concerns. We have hackers turn pre-installed antivirus app on unpronounceable phone name. Elizabeth Warren wants jail time for CEOs in Equifax-style breaches. Researchers trick radiologists with malware-created cancer nodes. That's not good. Hacker Eva Galperin has a plan to eradicate stalkerware. Great article. And then, of course, Facebook got back in the news with another hack or breach or compromise. Let's get started. Okay, our first article comes to us from the hackernews.com. We love those guys. Always put out a great amount of content. Hackers, what could be worse than this in this article? If the software that's meant to protect your devices leaves back door for hackers to turn on malware. According to Checkpoint, a repeated issue resided in one of their pre-installed applications called Guard Provider, a security app developed by Zemian. I know I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. That includes 3 different antivirus programs, very, very popular ones: Avast, AVL, and Tencent. But apparently this application also leaves a backdoor for malware and for bad actors to take control of your phones. So beware. That came out from Checkpoint last week. Let's get moving to the next article. Okay, Elizabeth Warren wants jail time for CEOs in Equifax-style breaches. In 2017, criminals stole personal data of about 143 million credit card systems from Equifax. Well, it's a lot more this year. The huge embarrassment for the company and a headache for millions of people affected. Equifax, then 57-year-old CEO Richard Smith retired in 2017 to a multi-million-dollar pay package. Of course, why not retire? If I'm going to retire, I want a multi-million-dollar pay package. Do you hear that, people? Give me a multi-million-dollar pay package. I would really appreciate that. But Elizabeth Warren wants jail time for people that have these types of incidents occur. She announced in the Corporate Execution Accountability Act would impose jail time on corporate executives who negligently permit or fail to prevent a violation of the law that affects health, safety, finances, or personal data. It's an election snippet. I don't even know how you could possibly prove something like this, and there'd be so much defense. But anyway, that was our next article. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is scary. It's not your mom's radiologist CT MRI scan machine anymore. Actually, it is, and that's why we're having problems, because the software is written in antiquated code. But so researchers, Engadget.com magazine, by the way, published this. Researchers of security in Israel developed malware that can add realistic-looking but entirely false growths on CT and MRI scans and hide real cancerous nodules in a patient. In a test on how effective the attack would be, the researchers conducted a blind study when they asked radiologists to diagnose the conditions based on a CT lung scan, some which altered with malware, some which hid cancerous nodules. 99% of the time when they made fake cancerous nodules, the radiologist came back with an assessment of cancer, and 94% of the time that they actually hid the cancerous cells, they came back with a clean bill of health. So obviously pretty scary, but identification of the issue is half the problem. So now hopefully they can patch that thing moving forward. So let's move on to our next article. Okay, our next article comes to us by Wired Magazine. It talks about hacker Eva Galperin. If you don't know who she is, she's one of the most influential cybersecurity experts in the world. Check out her Twitter feed, start tracking her, and hopefully this Wired Magazine article will give you the interest to start doing so. She has plans to eradicate stalkerware. So over the past year, Eva has been contacted by people that said that they've been subject to domestic abuse and describing their tormentors, and they seem to know everything they're up to. They're texting their private information, where they're at. They show up where they're at. They have all this information about their ex-spouses and ex-significant others. So Eva has taken upon herself to help out these people that are subject to domestic abuse, and the article highlights what aspect she's taking. I'm not going to get into it into a podcast because, quite frankly, I don't want to share with anyone how they can track people's information that way in a bad way. But it is on Wired Magazine, and the link is down below. Let's move on to our top article. Okay, our top article, Facebook. I missed you guys, man. It's been what? I don't know. It's been like a month and a half since we've had any articles on Facebook. For a while there, we had one every week. This is a good one. Millions of Facebook records found on Amazon cloud servers. Bloomberg, it's on like 16 different media outlets. I picked Bloomberg because, quite frankly, this is the first time they've ever showed up in our top 10. Maybe you should have a journalist assigned to cybersecurity, like ZDNet or Wired Magazine or the Hacker News, some of the ones that we see consistently on there. But Facebook said user data is still showing up in places that it shouldn't. Researchers on UpGuard, a cybersecurity firm, found troves of user information in plain sight, inadvertently posting on Amazon's cloud computing servers. The discovery shows that year after year, the Cambridge Analytica scandal exposed how insecure and widely disseminated Facebook's user information is online. The company's control of that information on every step still has not done enough to seal up the private data. So it's not a lot of records. It's only 540 million Facebook users. That's got to be a record, right? 540 million Facebook users. Identification records, comments, reactions, account names were all found on Amazon cloud servers. And, it's interesting. We go back just a couple articles. Elizabeth Warren saying CEOs should go to jail for... Anyway, it's atrocious. It's astounding. And we talked about it last week. The public just doesn't seem to care because Amazon is having record number of people join their service, which shocked me when I saw that. I don't know if they're manipulating numbers, or I'm assuming they're not, but because they're publicly held. But they're not seeing any impact on these privacy concerns. People continually go to them, and the only way to stop this sort of, for companies to take this stuff seriously, in my opinion, is you got to take your dollars and take your social media desires somewhere else. So that was our largest article, biggest article, most fantastic article of the week for April 6th. Thank you so much for listening. If you have not done so before, please hit subscribe. If you're listening to this via podcast, please subscribe on a button somewhere in the universe. I don't know where it would be. We appreciate you listening, and as always, take care and be safe.